low-level satellites that can look at every square inch of our country every day, all these other technologies that give totalitarian systems capacities they've never had before to monitor and control every aspect of our lives. He's sensitized to those, and I think what happened at the end of that election, there was a peaceful transition of power. Peaceful transitions of power are a critical part of our democracy.
Every time the mainstream media comes to Trump, you see members of the Trump team putting mainstream media in their place. We see JD Vance doing it, we see Vivek doing it, and now you have RFK Jr. coming at Geraldo Rivera for making all these ridiculous claims towards Trump and what he's done in the past, and he exposes the nature and the narrative of what the liberal media has been doing for the last 8 years in regards to Donald J. Trump. But before we get into that, make sure that you're subscribing to RTM News right now, because right here is where we give you that uncensored, unfiltered, raw coverage of what's happening here in the country and giving you the truth, which a lot of people don't want to give. So without further ado, I'm Titus. Let's get into this first video.
You and the president discussed how you will honor the Constitution. How can you trust President Trump to honor the Constitution when he was a sore loser last time and defied the constitutional succession and attempted to basically stay in power despite the fact that he had lost the election? So how can you, is this the person you're making common cause to seek the constitutional nirvana? I have deep doubts about that.
Like I said, I disagree with President Trump on many things that he did during the last administration. He today has a heightened sensitivity towards censorship, towards the weaponization of the federal agencies against our democracy, to the emerging power of these totalitarian systems and totalitarian technologies, AI, facial recognition technology, low-level satellites that can look at every square inch of our country every day, all these other technologies that give totalitarian systems capacities they've never had before to monitor and control every aspect of our lives. He's sensitized to those, and I think what happened at the end of that election, there was a peaceful transition of power. Peaceful transitions of power are a critical part of our democracy, and I disagree with a lot of things that happened there.
You don't think
I think the attacks on our Constitution over the last 4 years have eclipsed anything that happened on January 4th. I think the censorship is the largest threat to American democracy.
And there you have it. We want to sit there and put a huge magnifying glass on what happened January 6th, when before any event happened, Donald Trump did say to peacefully protest the results of the election because there was a lot of fishiness that had happened as far as a lot of people were concerned. And so that you have every right to protest, and obviously got out of hand, and obviously some people went too far, and we don't condone that behavior whatsoever. But to try and tie that to him and his legacy and everything, negate all the good things he did do while he was president is disingenuous to the mainstream media, and we know they keep harping on those moments. And another thing is he pointed out an amazing parallel of, okay, well, let's talk about everything that's happened under this current administration, whether it comes to censorship, totalitarian things that have been happening, and where they're trying to keep an eye on the American people, and through AI or through facial recognition, through all these things that they're invading the American people's privacy solely for control and being able to. You don't need to know where I'm at all times. You don't need to know what I'm doing at all times. It's weird. It's creepy. It's none of your business. And that has, like he said, exceeded almost everything that it could have happened. It surpassed or eclipsed past what happened in January 6th. The attack on the American people, the intention to control what we're doing at all times and make sure that you have a foot in every decision we make and what we do and what's right. And it's creepy. And it is totalitarian, as he was stating before. And so I'm so grateful that he's coming out and saying this. And he's coming out and saying this not as a Republican. He's not saying this to someone who's on our side. He's saying to someone who sees the corruption and the evil happening on the side that he was a part of, and said, I can't rock that anymore. You see, Tulsi Gabbard she's joined the Republican Party because she's like, this is insane what you guys are doing. What you guys are involved in is not something I want to be a part of. And we need to fight the powers that be that are trying to control the American people. It's not okay. And we need to put a stop to it right now. Also, what happens in this interview is something that we're going to play another clip of this interview. And I promise you, I'm going to be interrupting throughout parts of the interview to give you my take on what's happening throughout this conversation. But we have an old face, Bill O'Reilly, who used to be on Fox News, who was in the primetime spot before Tucker Carlson got him, and we all know what happened to him. So we're going to play this clip of them talking about the Trump administration and things that, and just Trump in general. And this guy, Geraldo Rivera, he's like, whatever the term is for career politician, but with mainstream media, it is this guy. And you'll see it so clear as day as you watch this video. So let's get into it.
The one way we do not solve the immigration problem is to refer to these poor people as vermin and animals poisoning the blood of our nation. That we don't talk of Mexican immigrants as if they were predisposed genetically to commit murder. We don't promise mass deportations on day one. There is a way to solve these problems going back beyond Ronald Reagan, back to the Eisenhower days, where there is a natural ebb and flow of a seasonal population, where there is a relationship between the United States and Mexico and the Central American countries, where everyone polices their own borders. Do you think that Mexico doesn't know that hundreds of thousands of undocumented people are going through 1,500 miles of Mexico to get here? They know exactly. It's become part of their racket. The cartels have taken it over. It is money making for them. Where is I think this is the issue that the Biden administration is most vulnerable and affecting Vice President Kamala Harris because they did such a terrible job. They have botched it. The frustration of that military wife and mother makes that very clear. But you've got to do it in an international way. You've got to have cooperation. We are the richest nation on earth. We are next to one of the poorest nations on earth. Of course, if you're in the poorest nation on earth, you're going to want to bring your children here. You're going to want to seek the American dream that our forefathers did. But you solve this problem with cooperation, with logic, with reason, and with compassion.
And not every person that crosses the border is a problem. I mean, you are in the sense of breaking our laws. But when you come across and you are murking American citizens, Lake and Riley, when you're taking over apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado, just a few of them, some people in liberal media want to say, as if that's okay. Oh, it's just a couple. That's wrong. They're not supposed to be here. They shouldn't be doing that. They shouldn't be putting the American people in danger. Those people are vermin. Those people are not genetically designed to be murderers, but some of them are murderers. There's nothing to do with the fact of their genetics. They just decided to go down that path in life. And we have every right to call people that are murderers, and to bring that awareness to the American people, because that's one of the biggest things that happened in 2016 that Trump wanted to bring a highlight, is that you guys are just sitting here not acknowledging that this is happening. And one thing I will give props to Obama to, even though there won't be many things, is that he did secure the border in a way so much better than the current administration. Like, he deported lots of illegals because at least he understood the importance of a secure border. Even if he pushed a lot on other narrative nonsense, at least he protected the American people in that sense, because there is so much importance to making sure that the border is secure. And you can sit there and say you need to have compassion, you need to have love and all this stuff, and I don't disagree with that. You also need to be peace through strength. You also need to be, you got to be hard on people. You got to be hard. And if people are breaking our laws, hurting our people, you have every right to enforce them to go back where they came from. There's no wrongdoing in that. And when you are killing people and harming people, especially the American people, as an American politician who's in charge of protecting, you have every right to call them those names because they're harming you. Are you gonna say something positive? Are you gonna say something positive about someone hurting your family, hurting your children? No. You're gonna call them the most vile, cruel, evil names you can think, because they are doing vile, evil crimes unto your children. So it's stop. You can sit there and try and make an emotional argument. That's what they always try and do. But in reality, it's complete nonsense. Also, I didn't even realize Stephen A. Smith is right over there. But let's get back into this.
I want to get a take from you, Bill, and I want to get a take from Bobby, and then I'm going to go to break.
So, all right, this is how you solve the problem. The first thing you do, and Trump did this in his last year in office, was have a quiet conversation with the president of Mexico, saying, unless you put your military on the southern border with Guatemala and the northern border with us, we are going to designate all the cartels as terrorists. And when we do that, we're going to kill them with Navy SEALs, with drones. Obrador folded in less than 24 hours. And he put the military on both borders, which cut down.
It wasn't
illegal-
the military.
Yes, it was.
He threatened him with trade, which was fine, which was legit. You're not going to declare war on Mexico for goodness sake.
You had your say. Now I'm going to tell you what happened. I don't care whether you believe it or not. So Trump said to Obrador,
He's been talking that way to me for 21 years.
and it still hasn't
That's actually a sweet moment. Aw, they've been doing this for 20 years.
gotten through. So Obrador put the military, which cut the migrant intrusion on the border about 75%. Okay, that's what you do, number one. Number two, and I agree with humane, we are a humane country. Donald Trump cannot mass deport. It's against the Constitution. Every person on American soil is entitled to our constitutional protection.
Due process.
Unless we interdict them coming across. And that's what Obama did. When the Border Patrol got them coming across, they turned them right back. All right? Barack Obama deported more illegal migrants than any other president. Right now, we have 14, at least, million foreign nationals in this country unsupervised. Within 3 months, they would be required by federal law, every one of them, to register at a post office and answer a questionnaire, which would then be sent to the Department of Homeland Security. So there would be a database of who is here and what those people are doing. Then the government would decide which cases would be heard first, and the others would receive designations. Some would get green cards. So if you had been here 6 years, you owned a home, you had 2 children who were American citizens, the government would say, okay, you can work, support your family, you're still going to have to go through the process. That is how you do it.
Well, how do you respond to the fact that your friend, President Trump, is not pursuing that, nor is he promoting that in any way, shape, or form?
Because he's using the issue to get votes.
Well, that I agree.
No, I don't think he's just using the issue to get votes. I think he genuinely wants to make a mass deportation because a lot of people are here that shouldn't be. And here's the thing. Some people, yeah, if you've been here for 6 years, I understand. I don't know all the logistics of illegal immigration and making sure you do all that stuff and all those. There's a lot of moving factors, I'm sure. But when it comes to people that just come within the last few years or last year or there's 20 million illegals have come in. Those people have not set up an amazing life here so far. A lot of people, especially the criminals, that's the initial focus anyway, is getting the criminals out, the ones that are causing harm, the people that are taking over apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado. Yeah, those people need to be booted out immediately, and you can do that. He did it already in 2016 through 2020 when he was president. He deported a lot of illegals. So we all know he can do that, and he needs to do that. There needs to be a massive sweep because there's all this crime coming from people that aren't even American citizens. Not that we want crime from American citizens. It's just unnecessary added negatives to our society, to our democracy, our republic. And so we need to fix that problem immediately. I don't think he's just doing it to get votes. I think he's genuinely genuinely concerned with what's happening when it comes to the border. I mean, I went to a Trump rally just yesterday, and there was 2 situations that were just heartbreaking. There was an interview put of this mother talking about how her daughter was murdered by illegal immigrants. She went to check her room. She was 12 years old. She wasn't there. She drives on, or she finds her location on her phone, follows the location all the way to this, I think it was a park or something, and there was police cars and caution tape, and essentially her daughter was strangled by 2 illegal immigrants that were part of a gang. And it's just, if they weren't here, that wouldn't have happened. And that's just so disheartening. It's so sad that these things are happening because of the current administration that is not taking the border crisis seriously. And so this is something that actually worries Americans, and they have every right to be worried about it. And we have every right to say, get these people out of here, not trying to turn. It's not a hateful thing towards people. It's that these people are criminals. They're not documented, and we have no idea what their intentions are. Not everyone, but if there's 20 people and 5 of them are murderers, and if you bring them in, they're going to the 5 are going to wreak havoc. You're just going to say all 20 shouldn't come in. And that's not to hate on anyone, but hey, come through legally. There's nothing wrong with saying that either. And just so sick of this annoying attack on the individuals, the American people, and Donald Trump, who just wants to make sure that we're safe and secure here in this country. It's absolutely ridiculous. But anyways, that's all we got for you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure that you're subscribed to RTM News. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.